What are you doing, Tina?
What are you doing, Jenny?
We are two women living our best lives in the Black Hills of South Dakota, sharing our stories, laughs, and projects happening in the garage.
Whether you're looking for a bit of joy, a spark of creativity, or just a comforting voice, you can find it here. Unicorn!
Okay, good morning.
Good morning!
Good morning.
We have another guest.
Oh my gosh, we're so excited.
I love this.
Jazzed.
I love this day because it's so interesting to me through the stages of life. Jenny and I not knowing each other before I moved back here, but we both know Trish in different capacities, and now she's like the spearhead of our health. And
100%.
and it's just so fun. Like fun fact, my sister went to high school with Trish.
Wow.
So
Small world.
It is.
Well, if you know Trish, you're lucky.
amen.
If you know Trish, you are
Amen.
lucky.
Yeah.
100%.
Guys, we just started. Don't do that to me.
Come on.
You know, I think you are the best doctor I've ever seen. Do you know why?
Aw.
Because when I was waiting for you to come in, you came in the room and you're like, "Hi, Amy. This is what I know about you." And you like went back into my history of my medical history, and no doctor has ever done that.
Really?
You always have to tell them.
Oh,
But you studied.
I
She
did study.
prepped. She
Definitely
does.
did my homework.
Yeah, she cares a
I
whole
love
lot. So I have to tell a story about when I first met Trish. And so Trish was working at Medical Arts Clinic here in our town. And it was Henry's night before kindergarten. He was so excited. Kindergarten. I mean, and he ended up having like this little thing on his finger that wouldn't go away, and it hurt really bad. And at that time, Medical Arts had urgent care, so I was like, we better go to urgent care and get this looked at so, you can go to kindergarten tomorrow. So we go, we check into urgent care, and Trish is on duty. We get in the room, and she's looking at his finger, and I have the most adorable picture of this. And she's looking at his finger, and he is looking at Trish, and he is falling madly in love with her. He's 5
He
years
is
old.
just like seeing.
And I'm standing back, and Trish is looking at the finger, and Henry is looking at Trish. And I said, Henry, and he looks at me, and he's like, this cheesy smile, and I got a picture of it as she's draining his finger, and he doesn't even
got a
care. He's like,
girlfriend.
just whatever. Like, this is great.
And when
She
it
can
pops
do
up
whatever.
every year, she sends it back to me.
I send it. I said, Henry's first love,
Yeah.
always be you.
Adorable.
Yeah, it was sweet.
So, tell us what you do, Trish.
So, family med's where we met.
Yes.
Almost 15 years of family med. And then I went to Monument and do surgical, non-surgical. We call it weight loss, but I call it longevity.
At a girl.
I like it.
I don't care about the number on the scale. I care about, what did we say last week in the podcast? Making sure the outside matches
the inside.
Yes, I
Yep.
listened.
Yep.
So I get to work with people to be the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
And, so I have to, I was kind of the first when Trish went over to bariatrics. I made an appointment, and I'm gonna come out with my number right now. So I walked into Trish's office, 268 pounds. And I had gotten myself into a place where I felt like I was too big. It wasn't safe for me to work out. Like, I was concerned about the load on my joints, my knees, my hips. But also, I didn't know what to do about it. Like, I felt completely stuck in just being big. And, being big, like, it happened over time, and I just lost track of it, didn't pay attention. But to be fair, I've always been an active person. I've always worked out. Like, I've always tried, and I have battled my weight my entire life. And so, for somebody, I guess, like me, I remember feeling so defeated and like I was a failure, and like I knew that I wasn't going to be able to get out of my current health situation with my weight alone. And I walked in just completely broken about it. And I was broken for about 1 minute after you walked in the room, because you talked a lot of science to me that made sense about why I was so heavy, and like gave me a roadmap of options. So I kind of want to, a lot of people have asked, are you guys on GLP-1s? Are you this? Are you that? We're a lot of things. So I'm a bariatric patient. I had a surgery 4 years ago now. And I can tell you, as I stand here today, I'm 104 pounds thinner than I was when I started this journey 4 years ago.
Bravo.
So, yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, so we weight management is this huge field, this huge issue, and Tina and I both really felt like we wanted to have Trish on to talk about just the field of weight management, but also if somebody is struggling with their weight and they're contemplating going to see someone about it, like what are all those options like, and how do you start with somebody?
Yeah, we're really lucky to have built a program here in town. We started it about 5 years ago as a bariatric program, so ideally a surgical, but we had a vision, and that vision would be people didn't just have surgery, see you for your 2-week post-op, and then, hey, good luck. Like, we wanted a support group that was forever.
Right.
We wanted mindful eating. We wanted the psych component of how do we get there, but we also wanted the science behind. You should see the look on people's face when I tell them, okay, by the way, this isn't your fault, right? These are your genetics. These are the hormones you're dealing with. And like they instantly, and I'm like, oh, and by the way, eat less, move more will never work for you. So, and they're just like, thank you. Like I've done it all. I've tried it all. But our program here is really great. We now, over the last 5 years, have 2 bariatric surgeons in Rapid and a weight management team that's non-surgical. Dr. Kyle Larson, Danny Hines, and Miss Sarah Lemon is joining them this week. She's in day 2 of
We
training.
are so excited about that as well.
We've been working on her a while.
I know you have.
Our team is like a powerhouse. Other surgical team members, you still have other APPs like myself that are we're there to see you in your consult, decide if you're a candidate for surgery, and if you are, help you get ready. But then we're with you in the OR. We're with you through surgery. We know exactly, we assist the surgeon. We know how things come together. And then we follow you forever. It's not like, okay, it's 5 years out. Good luck. No, we see you at a week, a month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year. And every year as long as you'll have us. And if you call me tomorrow and say I'm having some problems, I'm going to figure out a spot, right?
Yeah.
And then sometimes in that consult, in today's science and the way we've evolved to this amazing options, we can say, I don't know if you need surgery. Like, we can get to your goal without it.
Yeah.
There's different ways, and everybody's different, and it's not one thing fits all. I think also a big message would be, if you've had surgery anywhere, if you have had bariatric surgery and you have dealt with like weight regain, I always tell people, come find us. We're a center of excellence now. It means we'll take anybody from anywhere. You go to Mexico, Tijuana, and have surgery. Like, we want you. We want to help you. You didn't fail. The surgery failed you. If you regained weight, and we have tools to like make that better. So I think we finally have a place where everybody can come, and our goal there is a zero judgment zone.
Yeah.
Like we meet you right where you're at, and away we go.
And you feel like, I can speak from experience as well, and I'm on the other side where Jenny started on the bariatric side. I came to you with hormone changes, a lot of joint inflammation and pain. I have Crohn's, and said, what do I do? And, we started with labs, and you're like, I think trizepatide is going to be a great fit for you. Let's see what happens.
And has it been?
And I can tell you how long have I been on?
9 months.
9 months-ish. Yeah, 9 months. I think I am down not quite 60 pounds.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And, I think what's really important is the quality of life that it gave me back. Like, I'm not kidding. I was having trouble mobility-wise, just doing the basics, and I was exhausted. Like if I think today about hauling around a 100-pound pack on my back, I mean, I can't believe how much more energy I have and how much more mobile I am. But honest to God, the biggest gift is that I don't look in the mirror and hate on myself. I feel for the first time in my life, and I told you this the day that after I woke up from surgery, the day after, I told her, I said, I feel like this is the first time in my life I've been in control of my hunger, where it wasn't running me. Because I was a person who I could, like, there's a difference between are you hungry and could you eat, right? And I always felt like I was a bottomless pit of, like, never satisfied. And why is that?
Yeah, so when you talk about the hormones in the stomach, we do lots of different types of bariatric surgery, and there's modifications of each one. But when we hear patients say things like, I've never felt full, right? We think of the size of the stomach, the receptors of the stomach, the hormones in the stomach. And when you modify that, you are able to create fullness, right? The sense of satiety.
Yeah. And my sister, my sister had bariatric surgery it was in November, was it? Anyway, she had bariatric surgery and she's experiencing the same thing, but she had so much anxiety up to that point because I think we totally grew up in a house where whatever was wrong with you, like shove a muffin in your face and like,
Yeah, let me bake some banana bread for you, honey.
My mom was just over yesterday, and I said I had to have her come over and iron for me because I can't stand up for very long. And here she comes, toting a loaf of banana bread, and where's the butter, and slathering it on for the kids. Like that was just the medicine. And so my sister called me probably 5 or 6 times and said, but will I be able to eat? Will I be full? Like, what's that going to be like? She was so worried. And I told her, I said, Jade, you were going to be like Thanksgiving Day full after 4 bites of anything. It's going to be amazing.
It's a great way to say it.
You know, like you were going to be completely satisfied like that.
I have a question about that. Even though you're full, do you still want to eat more?
No, you don't, because you're full. And so the fullness sends a signal to your brain that says, I'm good.
That's beautiful.
And that's probably a signal that never got used before I had surgery.
And now, I think a lot of times my most successful patients are the ones who have had surgery and we put medicine with it. So, you really have to figure out where is it coming from. Sometimes, I get referrals on infertility, right, from OB-GYN. And I know we have to hit like the neurohormonal way that they gain the weight, like PCOS and things like that. That to me is going to involve bowel reconstruction of some sort. But when you can combine that patient's surgery with meds, it's like the magic powerhouse.
Really?
So, the referrals are getting more and more exciting all the time. Like I'm seeing referrals from GI for liver disease. One of my favorites is rheumatology, is sending me a lot of patients right now. We know that
I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yes, tirzepatide, when we talk about what hormones they work on, and don't let me forget to mention that the science is getting better and better all the time, and all the new stuff we have coming. But I'm not like the guy creating it, but I'm using it, right? And I'm excited about it.
It's a team.
But these rheumatologists are seeing this just fantastic way that we're getting to systemic and diffuse inflammation, including your joints, including the neurons of your brain, so dementia prevention. We're getting some really fun referrals that you're helping people in so many capacities. So it's not about, I always tell people, I know your goal is not a number on the scale. Some people it is. Most people it's mobility and movement.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the gift of being able to go on that hike with their family or go feel good in their skin and use their body, take care of grandkids, carry them safely up and down the stairs, or, oh, by the way, I'm teetering with some liver failure. We need to get things under control. And just walking that out with them, there's no better gift.
Yeah, like for me, I've always been super active in sports. I was a personal trainer. And then all of a sudden, just all this weight I went through something and it was just like, I just wanted
Yeah.
to eat everything
Yeah.
and just lay there and soak in it. And now I'm just like in so much pain, I can't even get back there.
Oh,
Yeah.
And so I'm so excited to go
And
through
then
my journey with you.
Yeah, and now sprinkle, like, let's just say it, like perimenopausal, right? We're all
Right,
starting to get to these
absolutely.
spots where our hormones, and we're going to be using it it won't be long. We'll have indications for some of these GLP, GIPs with perimenopausal symptoms and hot
Yeah.
flashes. And, we're going to keep using it for more and more.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I wanted to talk about with mine specifically was how it has impacted my Crohn's. I am due this year for a colonoscopy endoscopy, and
It's called the double dip.
That's right. That's right. That's
Both ends.
in the industry, that's what they call it. Yeah.
Double dip.
I think my prediction is that one of the benefits of being on Zepbound for me will be that my Crohn's is in remission. I would bet money on it.
Well, but that is also to say that we control your Crohn's.
Yeah, through diet
I
for
control
sure.
your Crohn's
Yeah.
through diet.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
don't feed you certain things.
Right.
Yeah.
There's one of the things, at my last appointment with Trish, I'm going to have her look at what she wrote me. She sent me this lovely message when she got my labs, and I want her to kind of tell us in particular
Look at that. I wrote all of that. Oh, my
Yes.
goodness. Do you want me to read you this?
Yes, please.
Because you care.
This is February 16th. Hi,
Yep.
Tina. I know I see you in a few days, but I wanted to respond to your labs as there are several that have resulted. There's several pending yet, too. Number 1, your body is loving the tirzepatide. Look at your triglycerides, 79 down from 137. Your LDLs, 101 down from 123. Your estimated average glucose down to 93 exclamation point from 117. And most recently, or most importantly, your CRP. This is the systemic inflammation marker. Went from 5.7 to 2.1. That is exactly why this medication is nearing indications for COPD, dementia prevention, rheumatoid and osteoarthritis, and recently its indication for obstructive sleep apnea. The improvement regarding your overall inflammation is profound. Number 2, your fatigue and general aches and pains may be secondary to a low folate. Your level is 5.2, but should be greater than 6.6. Can you please add that for me? Your B12 is too low as well. Perhaps a B complex would be a good add-on for you. So we're kind of fine-tuning some things here. Congratulations on your autoimmune results. I'll let your PCP, Miss Sarah, review them with you in detail.
Yep.
I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. I'll see you later this week.
So there's so much that comes from that. Like, first of all, what primary care, what person that is in your medical team responds to you on a Sunday? That's my huge takeaway. Number 2 is that there is communication between Trish and Sarah Lemon, who has now joined her team, but was not. She was my primary,
our whole family, yeah.
when all of this was taking place. So I want to highlight those two things. If you don't have those types of people on your medical team, go find them. But this is why I say that I really think, for me, one of the biggest deterrents of my overall health was inflammation from my Crohn's. And I want you to speak about, you touched on it in here and you touched on it just briefly, where is the field of GLP-1 going? Like, what is on the horizon for people?
Yeah, it's going to keep getting better.
Yeah.
I would say when I tell patients, I'm just going to be really transparent in this part too. I think this is important. When patients say, "Am I going to be on this forever?" I say, "Yeah, I hope so."
Yep.
And it sounds crazy because people are like, "Really? I don't want to be on it forever." Right? But I explain it like there are titration doses, there's therapeutic doses, and there's maintenance doses. And you're going to love it enough, you're not going to want me to take you off of it because of a multitude of reasons. But I talk about like hypertension. If you come in and you have blood pressure, and maybe you have the perfect BMI and you eat perfect, and this is more of a hereditary hypertension, there's nothing much you can do about that except take your blood pressure med and be compliant. This is no different to me. if I put you on a blood pressure med and you come back and see me and it's perfect, I don't take you off of it.
Right.
It's working.
It's working.
I keep
Right.
you on it.
Amen.
So I don't want people to think you go on it, you hit your goal weight, you go off. That is a perfect rebound crisis. And we've learned the hard way, I think, in how do you get people off when it is time or if they need to come off. And there are those situations we definitely can get them off. But we're going to some really cool places. So I would say the downsides of these meds is muscle wasting. So you lose weight no matter how you lose that weight. You have to be very intentional about your protein intake and lifting weights. And I actually saw a study come out this morning on bone density in menopausal women and these GLPs, which is really exciting. But in that disease process, you have to focus on your muscle mass and your skeletal system. So what we're seeing is that's harder on these meds.
Yeah.
So we have 2 meds in phase 3 trials
Okay.
that help you maintain that muscle mass. A new med came out last week. It's actually, I don't think they actually have it available yet. Similar pathway. It still has a GLP, it still has a GIP, but now it's more of like a CAMP system. Scientifically, we're talking about liver processing and things.
Okay.
There is so much more to come. Like they're just getting started.
wow.
And so when we
an
look at
exciting time.
what does maintenance look like for people in 10 years, it's going to look very different,
Yeah.
right? And the fact that now it's getting the attention it deserves, and obesity is being treated as a relapsing, remitting disease process that isn't always in your control, right? It's finally being treated with respect.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And we talk a lot about these taboo topics, whether it's mental health, it is hormone replacement therapy in menopause, pre and post, and weight, and the shame that people put on other people
Yeah.
who are utilizing a GLP-1.
It's awful.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
So I wanted to touch a little bit on that, knowing that Jenny and I have taken different pathways to get to this point where we are today, and how much hurt can come from those types of comments. And I'm just curious if you are seeing the same thing in practice.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. And the people that go home to their families after surgery and a family member says, oh, you took the easy way out. You had surgery.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, yes.
Oh, I've had
that's
that.
happened to me.
I could write a book.
That's
I could
happened
write
to
a book
me.
of the
And
things.
Here's the thing is that when you make a decision to permanently alter forever, like the surgery is forever. Like I couldn't go back to Trish and be like, put my stomach back the way it was, right? Not going to happen.
Undo.
It is a huge decision. And so I like the patient advocate bulb in me is going off, and I want to say this one thing. The experience that you're going to have, like buying a GLP-1 on the internet and it's getting shipped to you at your house and whatever, fine. But I would encourage you to develop a relationship with a provider, because just like the message that Tina got about like her labs, like it's a whole picture, right? And sometimes when you're ordering those things from wherever, you're not getting the consultative approach and all of the resources that are already built in to a program that is, like hers, that's robust and through a hospital and has all of the components available to it. Because I think one of the things about whatever weight loss journey you go on, whether that's bariatric or medication or otherwise, there are questions that are going to pop up along the way. And if you have a side effect that you want to talk about, or, for me with bariatrics, like I have to be very diligent about vitamins. We've had to work through some iron issues that we needed to tweak so that they were in a better spot. And not having somebody or a team of people to call to get those answers, I think can be a scarier way to do it if you're just kind of going maverick on your own.
Yeah, I agree with you. And one of the things that I will add, I mean, you've had to have iron infusions.
I've had 2.
In order to kind of balance your levels. And for me on mine, there were times, maybe it was work related, it could have been something going on in just day-to-day life, where I felt like the dose that I was on maybe didn't get me the full 7 days. Maybe by day 5, I was like, man, I could eat 4 cheeseburgers and a whole pizza right now. I'm going to call Trish. And I did. I called Dr. Fromm and I called Trish, and they both got back to me within minutes. And I told her exactly what I just said. And she said, and I said, I really don't want to have to, move up to the next dose. Everything is good, just there are certain times, sometimes, that I need a little boost. I need a little assistance. And we supplemented with Vyvanse. And that when I have it, I don't take it every day, but when I feel like I have a work trip that I'm going to be gone for maybe 2 days more than when my shot is due, I'll take 2 pills with me and I have one a day, and that gets me home, or whatever the case may be. But to go back to your point, it's really critical that you find somebody that on your team, right?
And so many people don't know, Vyvanse gets this rap. I just had one of our dietitians yesterday in training be like, why are you using Vyvanse on this patient? I said, it has an FDA-approved indication for binge eating disorder. So when you complement that with something, you're already hitting the receptors of the stomach. I mean, that's kind of, I think, I just can't thank you guys enough for your vulnerability and standing here and saying, I had surgery and I take this med, and because that's how we shut that down, right? But there are so many options out there and things we can do to help everybody just a little differently. I think another thing would be cost, because there might be people listening and that are like, yeah, but it's so expensive.
First, can you tell us what Vyvanse is?
Yeah, so it's a stimulant initially indicated for ADHD, right? So
I've been on it for years.
No, I don't believe it.
it's a great thing for Jenny.
I know. And Henry and Claire.
And my sweet Jennies that come in, I can tell when they forgot it that day.
Yeah.
But another one of the ADHD medications.
Okay.
But works differently than, say, Adderall and some of the others. But cost. So if you get a referral to our facility, or you call a facility and you find out your insurance doesn't have bariatric benefits, don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. We are working with insurance companies all the time to make that better. And there are a lot of people advocating for those people right now in many ways to understand that this shouldn't be treated different than cancer. It shouldn't be treated different than hypertension, right? So getting rid of that stigma and hopefully making it more affordable for everyone. It's coming. Just hang in there. It's coming.
I always feel like insurance companies are always behind the power curve, and then there'll be a moment where they realize, like, oh, wow, this medication is cheaper than actually paying for this person's heart attack or their double joint replacements.
Right.
It will come, but I always feel like the insurance component always lags behind to catch up with what,
Medicine
what the
is
science
doing.
is. Yeah.
And you will hear in the news right now a lot on how these GLPs are going to bankrupt our economy. Like, they're just going to break people, right? That's pharma, right? We have to navigate that. And I guess my patients are going to get put on it and say, I don't ever want to be without it. I feel like me again. I've seen it. I've seen it in conversations. Women in their mid-60s, 70s that have gone through menopause and are, their kids are thinking they have dementia. I'm like, no, this is called brain fog on a multitude of levels. Yeah. Let's get them, they can now have a normal conversation. So what happens then when insurance says, we won't pay for it anymore? And clearly they're not going to pay $500 out of pocket a month, right?
Right.
But my message to those patients is it's getting better. I see it getting better every month in what I see covered for people. So there are ways. We have a phenomenal group of nurses, and we couldn't do what we do without our nurses in our group, because they'll spend half a day for one patient appealing a denial.
That's incredible.
And the fact that
I've been on the receiving end of that, by the way.
They're so great, and they're diligent. They are advocating for the patients. There's so many loopholes planted. And we wouldn't have time as providers to keep doing that.
Right.
But these nurses are passionate about it, and they see what it's doing, and they hear the voice on the other end saying, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Don't worry, we've got you. You know,
Yeah.
so it's getting better. So if people have been there and then they say, I wanted bariatric surgery, but then I realize the follow-up is extensive. It is.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure that your folate and B12 are perfect. You better believe I am.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is expensive. And I guess my message would be hopefully we're going to see more and more coverage, and it's going to get better.
And I think plugging into, you know, a system or a department that works, you like are basically plugging yourself in to the hive mind that is working in this area every day, and they know kind of what's coming, what's current, what's not. They're trained on these things. And I just can't say enough about, I'm just going to give a soapbox speech right now. I can't say enough about having a regular primary care provider that you see regularly for care, getting an annual physical with a complete set of blood work, and allowing your care team to have a collaborative relationship with one another is big. Sometimes communication doesn't always translate between primary providers and specialty care providers and all of that. And so I think it's important to kind of set that up for yourself so that you build your own dream team, right, of people that are an expert on Amy and what Amy's chemistry is and how, what the best overall solution is going to be for you. I'm going to get off this up there. Speech over.
Well said.
Bravo.
Speech over.
Well said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, it's so true. You know, I think sometimes we forget living in a smaller community. We forget the powerhouse people that we have access to. You know, it might just be a regional hospital, and I air quote that. But when you have people like you that are passionate about that sector of medicine, about that field, your patients are the ones that benefit from that. It's like Bobby at Black Hills Plastic Surgery, who is passionate about hormone replacement therapy. That is not what she does all day, every day, but it is, she enjoys being up to date on the latest studies and trends. And again, it's one of those people that I have put onto my team that communicate well with Trish and with Sarah. And I can't hide anything. Like Trish knows what Sarah's doing, and Sarah knows what Bobby's doing, and Bobby knows what the other two are doing. And you damn Skippy, when I go in for my booster, Bobby says, are you taking your folate? Are you doing your B12 complex?
Yes.
Are you on a multivitamin, Tina? Because last time you told me you were not taking any vitamins.
Right.
Yeah.
So, there's no reason not to have accountability buddies.
Totally.
It's your medical team.
And when I was going through my iron issue, I was iron deficient, and I was iron deficient like all the way around. I didn't have any iron in my gas tank, and I was just struggling with some energy stuff. And how tempting would it have been to just be like, well, it must just be me. Like, I'm just tired. Like, I don't know, like, why. And it manifested, my iron deficiency manifested in the weirdest way. It manifested in terrible afternoon sugar cravings because it was my body being like, eat some sugar because we don't have any energy to like get through your day. And so I wouldn't have tied that back to iron. She tied that back to iron and was like, let's get that lab done and let's get an infusion and let's get you back to where you need to be. And then she adjusted my multivitamin that I take to a bariatric multivitamin with more iron in it. I haven't had a problem since. So
isn't it so interesting how far we've come medically? Now we're working in teams. It's like
It's so good. Well,
it's something that you dream about.
I think of this when last week Dr. Fromm and I typically assist Dr. Fromm in the OR on bariatric surgeries, and we had a big week last week. We worked really hard, and it was kind of a joke at the end of the week. I was like, I don't really like to work that hard. But when I look back at last week at the patients, when I walk in on post-op day one, and I'm like, you did it. You did it. Here we are. We're on day one of our new start. I'm as emotional as they are. And I have a high. When I come out of the week, I came out of last week like, wow, we helped a lot of people this week in a very timely manner.
Yeah.
Right?
This is a big impact.
Yes. And man, it feels good. It feels so good.
I have a question for you. Where does your passion for this come from? What made you want to get into this field? What's your story?
That is a really great question. I don't know, because I've always loved working out and those kind of things. But in primary care, I would say there were so many times, right, that the patient would come in and say, Trish, I did everything you said. I did it. I lost 40 pounds. I gained 60 back. And it was the constant yo-yo of heartache where they'd be like, I skipped my wellness last year because I'm ashamed to tell you the number on the scale. And like, I felt that to my core, right? I was like, that's not okay. I don't want you to ever miss that because you're ashamed of what happened this last year. Let's get you back on track. Like, this is day one of another start. And I just found that I was running into more and more patients that I felt the next step was bariatric surgery. And remember, this was before GLPs really hit the market. And I happened to be out on maternity leave with my third son, and Dr. Fromm's team called and said, hey, you send us a lot of patients. We just want to let you know we're moving to Monument. And I was like, you're doing what? Are you sure? Like, I kind of tried talking him out of it for a little bit, and then he goes, no, I have a vision. And his vision was good. His vision is this. And he's like, I need the support to build that vision. And I said, hey, thanks for calling me personally, but if there's ever a spot for me on your team, keep in mind I had been there 13 years. I never thought I'd leave primary care. And sure enough, we started running into each other at Terry Peak skiing, and pretty soon he's planting seeds, and he's like, I see you on my team. With that said, I don't think he would mind me sharing. He kind of had a vision board. And he just told me last week when we were operating, we have hours to talk in the OR, that when he looks back at his vision board, every single piece except one is already done. And so he created this. And now we have really incredible people working together to do it. So
I want to know what that last piece on the vision board is.
I know.
I'll come back next year.
Okay.
I'll tell you all
The
about
revelation.
it.
The revelation. Stay tuned. And for those that aren't local, that obviously aren't going to know Dr. Fromm, I've known Dr. Fromm, again, for many, many years, and we have this special bond and common interest over golf, and we kind of geek out about really diving into the technology side and talking about spin rates and spine angles and all kinds of stuff. So I kind of fangirl over Dr. Fromm and vice versa. But
I went to high school with Dr. Fromm.
And then there's that.
You know everyone.
So it's fun for us to have watched all of these people. When I moved back to Rapid City, Trish was my primary. And now to watch her go on this journey and to know her from, being my sister's little friend in school is so full circle for me. And it fills my cup, and it makes me so proud of the work that you do
and how
and the
you do
people that you impact and the way that you do it. Like Amy's comment right at the beginning, and the care and the time that you take.
Thanks for trusting me to do it.
Yeah, to make
there's
people
no better compliment.
feel seen and heard. Trish.
So I have
It's
a question.
Huge.
So for people who are wanting to, we have viewers all over everywhere. So for people who are wanting to embark on this journey and kind of create their own dream team, Trish, what is the process that somebody, or like, how do people do that if they're interested in picking up the 1,000-pound phone and making the call?
I would, if you don't have a good primary, you need to find one. God bless primary care physicians, you guys. They
turn and burn.
If you could just understand the amount of blood, sweat, and tears they put into your chart before they ever even get to see you. And when their kids go to bed at night, they pull their computer back out to finish your note, right? These people are multitasking beyond all multitasking. So if you have a good one, ask them. Is there a weight management program in town? They get 15 minutes to see you. I get an hour. How can they do that in 15 minutes and take care of your cough and your knee pain and whatever
Your
else.
rash.
And your dry vagina, right? Like if we're talking about hormones, let's just talk about it.
Exactly.
They got to cover all of it. So
It's so true.
So ask
So
them.
true.
I am not there yet.
they know their people in their community, and we have so many primaries that'll send me a message. Hey, no bariatric benefits, but could I refer over under this diagnosis? Like they just want to get them in the door because they know if they could just get we have dietitians that are not there to tell you the things that you already know.
Yeah.
They're not going to tell you eat less, move more. They're not going to tell you count calories. They're not going to tell you that.
No.
They're going to help you figure out what a happy plate looks like, right? And then after surgery, if you have surgery, here's what your new diet looks like, and they map that out for you. I even hate to use the word diet. I hate that word. But start with your primary. And if you don't have a good primary, you should go onto your local community websites and figure out, maybe even do some reviews. I mean, there's a few bad ones of me out there, but I'll tell you what, if you just spend some time in the reviews, you're going to get a feel for like who took the time.
Yeah.
Who is educated in that field or whatnot. But if you have a good primary, start with them because they know the resources and they know the things they've seen work and the things they've seen not work. I still get people sent in, they're like, well, they were on I am not knocking compounded pharmacies for GLPs because I think they really have a time and place. But I'll get people in that'll say, yeah, I paid $10,000 in the last 2 years on it. And what they were really getting was B12, and I can see it in their labs. I can see your B12 skyrocketed, but nothing else changed. And so you have to know those providers also know the reputable compounding pharmacies that are working.
Yes.
And that's, I think that's a good place to start too, as long as you have the right team following
Yes.
you. So it's a great question.
Yeah,
Great
and
question.
if you're going to see a primary and you're getting a referral under insurance, you guys, your copay is no different whether you see like the top provider in your area or you see somebody else. And so use it. Like use the benefits that you're paying for to see the best possible person for what you're trying to accomplish. And I will just say that in my entire journey through weight management, I have never been met with anything but love and respect at any weight I was. And so it was really hard to walk in there the first time, but that's when it stopped being hard. The decision itself was hard, and everything after that was a process, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Totally
It
does.
took it out. It took like the shame and the emotion out of it, and we got down to clinically what was going on, and then somehow it made it about my chemistry and not about judging me as a human
Right.
and as a failure.
And speaking of that, for people that haven't done it yet because they know family is against it, or they know they're gonna hear those comments from people in their family and friends. Do you think it would be better to keep it quiet, like a secret, or keep it out there? And if you do keep it out there, what do you say back to those people?
I always say, what is the thing that keeps you safe? What is the thing that emotionally feels good for you? Because I realize that some people aren't in family systems or have networks where that is going to be met with some support.
Right.
And then I give you permission to keep it to yourself, But if you feel like you want to involve the people in your life who care about you the most, who are going to support you, then great. But that is your story to tell. And can I just say, a long time ago, I quit being a woman who would ever engage or participate in conversations about other women's bodies. And I think we've all been in conversations where like, oh, did you see her? She gained so much weight. Or what is she doing? She lost all that. Like, I'm out. I am out on that conversation because that comes from an unhealed place in them. And I have lived this path, and I refuse to participate in any conversation that is reflective on somebody's physical shell, because that is so far from like who they are. Like, that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know your heart. I want to know who you are. I want to know what you care about, what hurts you, what
Yep.
concerns you, what you love, and what sets your soul on fire.
Yeah.
I got no time
And the
to
women
talk about
and
other
men who
stuff.
embrace their size, you know,
Yeah.
they may be
Yeah.
plus size and they embrace it.
Yeah.
And the people that make the comments about
I
but your
know it.
health and
It's
this-
sad.
yeah,
It's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad.
I think that, you know, again, we have to, I'm so glad that we are talking about these topics and right now in this climate. Enough is enough. Like, life is freaking hard. Why are we making it harder for people? Stop. Just stop.
love.
Love,
Love
accept,
is the
grace, straighten the crown, support, lift up.
And not everybody that's heavy is doing it because they're stuffing their face. Like you said, it's hereditary.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. And I'll get at the other end. Like in vulnerable spaces, I'll have patients be like, how do you know anything about what I'm feeling? You know, your BMI is perfect. And I'm like, trust me, I know where you're at. Like I'm on the other end of saying, I'm going to lead you by example. And if you walked in today and I was 200 pounds overweight, would you trust me? And so when I get up at 4:30 every morning to do what I have to do to stay fit, to help you, help you have a vision of what I hope, I'm navigating the exact same things. I have the food dyes in my home and the kids that want to eat the Fruity Pebbles, right? Like I have all the same things. And I would love sometimes to come home from a long day in the OR and put my feet up. And I'm like, nope, I haven't hit my 10,000 steps yet. And I just told 3 patients today they got to get 10,000 steps. So I've got to go do it. So they keep me accountable. And when I was in PA school, gosh, in 2006, 2007, one of my precepting physicians, I couldn't believe it. I was in internal medicine, and he says, my wife is reading this book called Skinny Bitch. Have you ever read it? And I was like, what? And, you know, at this time I'm like running marathons and I'm like, are you like sending that to me? And he's like, kind of, because I promise you, and it was a lesson. He's like, in primary care and in internal medicine, I promise you, people are going to ask you if you have any idea what they're feeling. And you have to figure out how you're going to navigate that conversation. I was like, I never thought about that.
Wow.
So actually he set me up for a blessing of down the road how to handle that conversation too. But yeah, you're right. Like as women, there's nothing but one of my very favorite days is patients' 1-year post-op visit because I remember their consult. I'll remember they came in with a bad knee or carrying oxygen or whatever. I'll remember that very humble man that it took everything in his power to get out of the car and walk in for that consult. And he's sweat beads and scared. I'll remember it. And on the 1-year visit, they're a different person. And they walk out with confidence, and they usually have a story for me. Like, I crossed my legs for the first time.
I did this.
I walked in and I was like, look at my butt. Look at my butt in these pants, I said.
Yeah, right? It's so good.
It was so fun.
So, yeah, and really, like, for both of you, you guys make my job. I always say I have the best job in the world, and I genuinely mean that. But thank you for sharing your health with me and with our team and trusting us and just for being vulnerable and telling people. It's one of the powerhouses of womanhood and of sisterhood and of just humankind is saying, I understand, or I've been there, or hey, I can't help you, but I know somebody who can, right? And I do the same thing. So the fact that you're willing to just say, my surgical patient, my non-surgical patient, and like just to say, this is how we did it.
This is what we do.
So we did I called Tina. No, we were in person. And I said, I have something I want to run by you, but it might sound crazy and maybe it's dumb, but I'm going to tell you, it just keeps coming into my head. She's like, okay, what is it? And we've been married for 7 years, and we were both heavy at our wedding. And I said, I want to redo our wedding pictures. And she said, you do? And I said, yeah. We are like, I feel so comfortable in my skin.
Cry.
And I'm so in love with you. And you look amazing, and I feel amazing, and I think I look amazing.
You
and
do.
I said, let's redo it.
I was at your wedding.
I know.
Yeah. And so we're going to do it. We're going to redo our wedding. We're going to redo wedding photos.
And there's no one more excited than my mother. I told her yesterday, and she's like, oh, I think this is great.
I do too.
Yeah.
One more question.
Yes, please.
both of you.
Yeah.
What would you tell your past self about your weight loss? Like if you If your past heavy self was sitting next to you right now, what would you say to him?
I would say it's not your fault, and there's a way through it. And I would ask her to trust the process and to trust the people who live, eat, breathe, sleep this stuff all the time, and that it's going to be okay. That and that also that your weight and that the number on the scale is in no way a reflection of who you are, what you've accomplished, what you're capable of. Like, it's just your earth suit, and that you are enough just the way you are, and that you are worth it, that you are worth the investment into your own health, and to take the leap.
Yeah. I come from the other side. You know, Jenny's been a lifelong struggler, just genetics with weight, where I was a college athlete. And, you know, we were told what time practice is, how long practice is, how often you're going to lift, what you can eat. We were weighed in and weighed out before every summer, before every holiday, all of it. And as a senior, I remember my last weigh-in. I was 134 pounds and had less than 13% body fat and no menstrual cycle. And so when I came to Trish and said these things, and she asked me, you know, the series of questions responsibly, what are your goals? What are your objectives? What's the win? What's the challenge? And so to be where I am today, and it's less about the number, and it's more about how clothes fit. It's how, you know, percentage of body fat, those types of things. So what I would tell myself back then to the middle to today, back then as a college athlete, it's unrealistic to maintain that through your life. In the middle, it's unrealistic for you to get back to that. And now, I'm right. My insides match my outsides.
Love it.
We actually Googled the other day. We asked, hey, Google, what the average American woman weighs? And the answer was 170 pounds. And so I just want to normalize 170 pounds, right? Like, I think sometimes in media and Instagram and all the things, like, if I'm not 5'5", 120 and whatever, like, that's a myth.
Like
that
the old rap
exists
song,
for some
36,
people,
24, 36.
Right.
Only if she's
We must
5'3".
improve our bust.
So
I think the journey too. You guys made so I love watching you guys. But there was a lovely comment. You asked them a question of what if you had met sooner.
Yes.
And your response was, I wouldn't have unwrapped the package.
I wouldn't have unwrapped the gift in the same way.
way.
Yep.
And it's the same thing with a weight journey. You go through think of how much more exciting it feels to be today, based on we're women. We have children. We do different things. But even as a man who identifies as the leader of his family and feeling inadequate or weak or whatever, it's part of the process and it's part of the package, and we support you in all of that.
Yes.
So embrace it in some way. Sometimes they come in, they can't see that end picture, but I see it. I knew we'd get here. I knew.
She told me. She
Did.
said the first, she was like, where do you want to be? And I said, I don't know, like 190. And she's like, oh,
honey,
you'll be in the 160s. And I was like, and in my mind, I was like, she doesn't know me.
she doesn't know me. I
And
can't
now
get
here I
there.
am.
And here she is.
164 this morning.
Yep.
And
Bravo.
she was right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I trusted the process. And, you know, it's not overnight. Like, it's been 4 years of getting here, but what else are you going to spend the 4 years on? Come on, let's get started.
And you're so inspiring. So many people are inspired right now watching this.
You can if I can do it, anybody can do it. I mean it.
It's
I
so
mean
true.
it.
Like,
knowledge is power.
In college, I was a 29-inch waist in college with less than 13% body fat. And I feel healthier today in a 32-inch waist than I did back then. Because I'm in control. There's not somebody else telling me what I can and cannot do. It's me. That's the thing that I learned is I'm doing it for me because of me. Because this is a decision that I made for myself, not because a strength and conditioning coach or a head coach or whatever. Somebody's not telling me this is what you have to do. And I think if there's anything I can tell somebody that's listening to this that they've secretly been researching or have been afraid to make an appointment, you don't owe anyone anything other than yourself. And it's your journey. It's not your spouse's, it's not your parents, it's not your kids, it's not your significant others or your coworkers. And I get it. Like, it's hard to be vulnerable in any situation.
But especially weight.
So please just take a minute, take this in, find the medical professionals in your area that you can connect with, that you feel reciprocated with your own vulnerability, and build that plan out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe we could add to your show today the link for our phone number.
Sure.
Yes.
Yes.
And
we'll put it in the show notes.
we have a team in the background that will get your information and they will check your benefits for you. So you're not trying to call your insurance and say, do I have coverage if I go there? They'll do that for you.
Amazing.
And then they'll call you back. And if you're interested, they'll put you on the list. And get you
Amazing.
so we could do that too.
Well, that's great.
Thank you.
Thank
Get
you.
on the list now.
It's
Yeah.
long,
Act
but we'll get
today.
there.
It's
The rest
long,
of your life is
but it's
waiting.
coming.
Act
yes.
today.
Act today. Act now.
Oh, thank you for having me.
yes.
Thank
Yes.
you for everything,
Yeah.
and thank
Yeah,
you
my
mostly
pleasure.
for who you are at the core. And we're just blessed to call you our friend.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
And
Yeah.
look at this group of women right here. Such comfort in this room today.
You as well, my
got
friend.
it. Yeah.
Starting
I love
on
you
your
guys.
journey.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Can't wait to report back in a year on mine.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I know, with that little sexy voice. When I,
know,
walked in,
right?
I was like,
It is,
oh,
right?
I know who
It's so
you are.
fun, isn't it?
So good.
It's so fun.
Yes.
All right, contact
Okay, ready? On
information.
three.
Oh wait,
Contact
sorry.
info.
Contact
Yeah.
info.
Questions you can email to info@theunicornprojects.com or you can.
Oh, do you want me to do the phone number?
Please.
Okay. And if you have a comment or a question, you can call our toll-free number at 844-605-LIFE, and that's 844-605-5433.
Yes, ma'am.
now unicorn.
Okay, unicorn.
Unicorn.
Let's do it.
Boom. Thank you for tuning in to the Unicorn Projects, hosted by Amy Rose with Jenny and Tina. Music by Caroline Kilty. Produced by Russ Haddon. Engineered by Chris Jaquez. It's the Unicorn Projects on the Home Slice Audio Network.